Hello everyone, and welcome. My name is Amy Brownell, and I am here every Tuesday live on YouTube and Facebook to talk about all things CFO and advisory related. Now, on today's edition of the CFO Insider, we are going to talk about what exactly a fractional CFO does and what they don't do. There is a lot of misinformation out there, and I want to clear some of that up. Now, like I said, I go live here on YouTube every Tuesday. I'd love it if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you are made aware anytime we drop new content, anytime we go live. And if you have any questions while this live is happening, feel free to go ahead and post them and I will get them answered for you. If you are going to watch this later, totally great. Go ahead, post your questions and I will get you an answer back. All right, let's dive into this. So why is the term fractional CFO being misused? And why does that even matter? Well, there are a lot of finance terms out there. And when you think about bookkeeper, accountant, CFO, fractional CFO, business advisor, you've got financial analysts and directors and VPs, and you've got all of these different titles. And they all mean similar-ish things, but different. And so I want to explain kind of the nuance of what a CFO advisor actually is, what a fractional CFO actually is. So what a fractional CFO does is spend a portion of their time with a specific client. So they spend a fraction of their time servicing one client, and then another fraction of their time spending with another client, and so on and so on. So you're not working full-time for one client. You are working fractionally with a bunch of different clients. Now, for purposes of this live, and in most cases, the terms fractional CFO and CFO are delineated by this. A fractional CFO, like I said, is a person who services multiple small businesses at one time, whereas a CFO is typically thought of as a corporate CFO, like the CFO of Coca-Cola, for example. So we are calling ourselves CFOs. We're actually fractional CFOs. Those two terms are somewhat, for purposes of what we're talking about, interchangeable. Now, in terms of advisor, now what I really like to have happen and hear the differences are, let's start that again. The difference between an advisor and a fractional CFO are nominal. So a lot of people call them fractional CFO, CFO advisor. They're somewhat interchangeable. Now, that said, the terms fractional CFO and CFO, while they mean two different places, like a CFO, like I said, is servicing one corporate, it's like one, they work for one company. So like Coca-Cola's CFO. Whereas the fractional CFO services a bunch of different small companies. So from a very technical standpoint, what we should be known as is fractional CFOs or CFO advisors. So we are in that niche. Everything else is secondary. So what does a fractional CFO do? Well, they help clients make more money, save money, manage their money, and grow. So we are helping small and medium-sized business owners do things like understand how to grow their revenue, how to make more money. We are helping them understand how to reduce expenses, save money. We are helping them understand how to manage cash. So the cash that comes into the business and the cash that goes out of the business. Excuse me. How to manage the timing of that cash. So that is a bit about what exactly a CFO, a fractional CFO advisor does. What do they not do? A fractional CFO advisor does not do bookkeeping. They can do bookkeeping, but if you're looking at it from a pure standpoint, what do they do? A bookkeeper and a fractional CFO, those are two different things. So two different jobs. A bookkeeper's job is to categorize and reconcile accounts, whereas the fractional CFO is taking it that next step further, like helping with strategy and helping understand what do those numbers mean. So think about this. It is like the bookkeeper is the one who makes sure that the books are clean and accurate. The CFO advisor is the one who takes those books and helps businesses understand how to grow, how to make more money, how to save more money, that kind of thing. So that is a little bit about why the terms are so confusing and somewhat misused. Another thing that a CFO does not do, they do not do tax prep. A fractional CFO doesn't do tax prep. Now, can you do tax prep as part of your business? Sure, you absolutely can. But if you look at it from a strict CFO, fractional CFO standpoint, we do not do things like data entry. We do not do things like bookkeeping. We do not do things like tax prep. We do not do things like tax advisory. Those are all different things. Now, what do we actually do? Strategy, forecasting, advising, making recommendations, helping businesses grow. That's what a CFO advisor actually does. Now, a big difference between bookkeeping and accounting, tax prep, is that all of those functions are looking backwards, looking at the past, what happened in the past. Whereas CFO work is more forward-looking, is looking at what's going to happen in the future. How can we plan for the future? How do we grow in the future? How does that affect what's happening now? So, excuse me. So remember, accounting, bookkeeping, tax prep is all backward looking and looking at the past, whereas fractional CFO advisor work is forward looking, is thinking about the future, thinking about the present. Now, how do you clearly communicate what your role is? It is critical to be able to communicate that clearly to your prospective clients so they understand the value. Because unfortunately, we live in a world where a lot of bookkeeping type work, a lot of tax prep kind of work is viewed as a commodity, is viewed as something that is, I have to do this because I have to do it to get my taxes done. And I'm required to file taxes. Now, when you are required to do something, you want to just pay the least amount of money possible. But with fractional CFO work, it is completely different. We are talking about prospective business owners who are looking to grow their business, specific business owners who are looking to make more money, to save money, to grow their cash, to manage their cash, to plan for the future. And so being able to clearly articulate the difference between what a fractional CFO or CFO advisor does versus a bookkeeper or tax prep, it is important because the potential client isn't going to want to pay high ticket fees for things like bookkeeping and tax prep. They're going to want to pay those high ticket fees for CFO work. So the more that you're able to explain the differences and explain what you do as a CFO advisor, the higher fee you're going to be able to get. All right. Now, being able to clearly define what a CFO advisor is, what a fractional CFO is, it helps protect your pricing power. You are able to command higher ticket fees for forward-looking work, for things that are happening in the future, as opposed to what's happening in the past, or what happened in the past. So the thing I want you to remember here is I want you to know who you are and where you fall. And more specifically, I want you to own who you are. If you are a bookkeeper, that's great. Be a bookkeeper. If you want to learn fractional CFO, that's great too. Learn fractional CFO. But be clear as to what the definitions of each one are. And if you have any questions, go ahead and post them here in the chat or make a comment, and I will get those answered for you. All right, that is all I have for today. Like I said, I go live on YouTube, Facebook every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. That is 10 a.m. Pacific here. And if you have any questions, be sure to post them in the group. If you're interested in learning more about what CFO advisory work is and how it can benefit you and your business, go ahead and join my upcoming challenge. It's called the Game Changer Challenge. It's happening this Saturday. And the link is in the description of this video. You're going to want to go to gamechangerchallenge.com/register one day. So that is the link. Go ahead and click on that guy, register for the challenge, and I will look forward to seeing you there. I hope you guys enjoyed today's session, and we will see you next week. Bye.